Hi, this is Chef Chip from riceandgravy.com. Today we're going to prepare Cajun chicken stew. The old saying in Louisiana that every good recipe begins with the line, "First you make a roux," is actually true. We use a roux in probably 80% of our dishes. The smell of fresh onions sweating in a dark brown roux is the most amazing smell you have ever smelled. My Cajun friends know exactly what I'm talking about. In this video, we're going to use it to make a chicken stew. And I'll also show you how a Cajun roux can be a very simple process. I don't know where the idea that a Cajun roux takes hours to make came from. Not in my house. Any Cajun roux is going to have a certain few ingredients. In Southwest Louisiana, roux are simpler with fewer ingredients. But you're always going to have fat, you're going to have a flour. In this case we have peanut oil. But you can also use clarified butter, you can use bacon fat. You're always going to have onion. Onion, besides adding flavor, is going to help stop the browning process. I have a poblano here, but usually it's a bell pepper. It's just my preference. Celery is also a common ingredient. I don't use it in my roux because I didn't grow up with it in my part of Louisiana. You're always going to have some kind of pepper, at least black pepper. Oftentimes you'll have cayenne pepper, sometimes white pepper. And green onions. More often added towards the end of the cooking process to give a little boost of onion flavor. In Southeast Louisiana, you start finding things like tomatoes, bay leaf like I have here fresh from my tree, and you'll find some kind of a dried herb like here I have thyme. Sometimes it'll be oregano or basil. Our chicken stew today is a Southwest Louisiana style, and here's a list of the ingredients we'll be using. You can also find this list at riceandgravy.com. Before you put pot to stove, have all the remaining ingredients prepared and measured. Very important, or you'll be doomed to failure. Put a nice heavy pot on the stove. Here I've got a heavy stainless steel pot. Cast iron works really well. Enamel cast iron is also a good choice. What you don't want to use is a non-stick skillet. Please don't use a non-stick pot to make a roux. You'll destroy the pot and the roux. I have my stove set at a medium-high temperature. We're going to heat the oil to 350 degrees. Basically, that's when the oil starts to shimmer. You know you've got the right temperature. Then we add the flour. Add it all at once. If you have the temperature right, watch this. See how that sizzles right away? That's the moisture from the flour coming off. Keep everything moving. If the roux stops moving, the roux burns. Very important to keep it moving the entire time. This is going to take about 3 minutes of constant stirring. A little darker now. Probably go for a little bit darker than that, like my mama used to say, about the color of your coffee. And that's the color we're looking for. Turn the heat off. Add the onions and peppers to the pan. Let everybody suffer for a while. Now that everything's cooled off enough, we'll add all the spices at once. And the chicken bouillon, and 3 cups of cool water. Up to this point, this could be just about anything. What we have here is the beginnings of a roux gravy. You could simmer this down for about 20-30 minutes. It'll darken and get a little thicker, and you could use it to top your jambalaya, put it on top of leftover rotisserie chicken, cook some pork chops in it. This is an extremely versatile sauce. But today we're making a chicken stew, and it's gonna be good. Alright, so we're just about at a full boil here. We'll let it go a little bit longer and get a good simmer going. And then it'll be time to add the chicken. Any cut of chicken will work. I've got chicken wings that I'm adding here, but you can use boneless chicken thighs, boneless breast, leg quarters, whole chicken cut up, whatever you like. It's all good. My favorite is to add something with some bones in it because the bones add a lot more flavor coming from the marrow. But really anything that works. Whatever you got in the fridge is probably the best thing to put in there. Okay, so now we got everybody in the pot. We're going to put a lid on it, bring it up to a full simmer, and then we'll remove the lid and let it simmer for about 45 minutes to an hour. And when it's done, it looks like this. The sauce has reduced to gravy consistency and it's become a lot darker. But we have one more step. Now we add more black pepper and we add green onions. Then we put the lid back on, turn off the heat, and let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes to let the green onions soften and lend their flavor to the stew. And that's all there is to it. Let's get a bowl of rice and plate this stuff up. Look how silky that looks. It's reduced just perfectly. That's going to be so good. So as you can see, this is an easy dish to prepare. About 15 to 20 minutes of prep time, another 15 or so to make the roux, then leave it alone for about an hour. I really hope you try it. You could also finish this recipe in the crock pot. Increase the water to 4 cups and use boneless thighs. Once you've added the chicken and brought it to a simmer, transfer everything to your crock pot and set it on low. It should be perfect by the time you get home from work. Oh, that's so good. Mais ça, c'est bon, chat.